Welcome back to Rockin Out, a new show where we discuss the latest and greatest in rock and metal music. I'm your host, Annabelle, and in the last Nothing More video, I juggled for you guys, so I decided that I would just continue the theme and juggle for you again. But I am super stoked because Nothing More just released their album, CARNAL. So today, I thought we would play a fun little game for the first time that I am calling Play or Skip. I listened to all of the songs in the album, and I'm going to tell you which ones I would play again and which ones I would skip. Starting with the self-titled intro, CARNAL, I would skip CARNAL because it's just an intro, it's not a full song, and it's just kind of to kick off the album. Next up, we have House on Sand. Now, House on Sand was their lead single that they used to promote the album, and I did really like it when I first listened to it, and it's actually the one I did the first Nothing More video about. And I still think it's a good song. I really like that one line, the patient line. I'm a patient, going apeshit on the fourth floor in the psych ward, I've been baptized. But I'm going to give the controversial opinion that I would actually skip this song. After hearing the full album, there's a couple other tracks that I like even more than this one. Then we're going 3 for 3 on skip. I know it's shocking for the next song, If It Doesn't Hurt. For some reason, this was my least favorite song off the album. It's not that there's anything I can pinpoint that's wrong with it per se, it just didn't appeal to me personally, especially as I went through the rest of the album and there were just tracks I liked so much more. That brings us to the tracks I liked so much more, starting with Angel Song featuring David he's from Disturbed, isn't he? Hang on. Yes, he is. I like Disturbed too. Not today, we're not going away. I really liked Angel Song. I thought it was great. It was definitely one of my top songs from the album. Next up, we have FREEFALL, which I also thought was great and was also a top song for me. That's a definite play. Then after that, going 3 for 3 for definitely Play It Again is Blame It on the Drugs. I thought this one was really cool. It reminded me of some of their older stuff that I really like Matthew Effect, Jenny. I was really into like that era of Nothing More, though I like all of their music, but for some reason that kind of harkened itself back to that time period, so I really liked it. Don't you blame it on the drugs for every time you give up. Don't you blame it on the drugs. Then we have Head, which is another kind of little like segue piece. Throughout all of the album, they kind of have these different segue pieces that has a man's voice speaking, and then it kind of goes into the next like actual song. And I feel like it was kind of reminiscent of The Twilight Zone a little bit. You know, they're just little like segment pieces. There's not much to say about them really. They're not something I would go back to and listen to individually. They make sense in the totality of the album, but just not anything I would just like play like that random tiny snippet, you know what I mean? So then next up we have Existential Dread, which was also a top pick for me. This one is lyrically really great, and I loved the breakdown after the word go. Oh, and I did like his screaming on when he said the end. That was really awesome. The end! Go! I was really into the instrumental on the beginning of the track, and then the sonic changes as he starts singing have really good energy. They have really good build-up. Then between Existential Dread, we have Heart, which is a skip for me. That's just another segue piece. Then we have Down the River, which is a full-length song, but I'm also gonna skip that one too. For some reason, same with If It Doesn't Hurt, I just wasn't feeling the song as much. I don't know why, it was a skip for me. And then we have Give It Time. And I think Give It Time kind of juxtaposed maybe what I preferred on it versus what I didn't like as much on Down the River. On Give It Time, it really had this darker tonal quality to it, whereas Down the River was a little bit brighter. And I think I preferred like that overall kind of darker feeling to it over Down the River.
There's no running away this time from all of the things that I
have Sight, which is a skip for me. That's just another, little filler segue in between. Then we have Stuck feat. Sinister, if I'm saying the name correctly. And this one I would say is one of the harder hitting, heavier songs on the album. There's lots of gentiness in the guitar. There's some kind of like more harder vocals. I still wouldn't say this is like this is a play for sure. This isn't like my top favorite though. I'll tell you my top favorite ones at the end, but it was still really cool. And then we have Run for Your Life, which was also a harder, heavier song. For some reason, this is a skip for me though. It's cool, and I like the drums, and of course his vocals sound great, but something about it was kind of disjointed in my opinion. Like, nothing on the album was bad, but this one just wasn't like as awesome as some of the other ones. And then we have Sound to finish it out, which once again is just like an interlude out of the album. That's a skip for me too. Like, all of the interludes are skips for me unless they're like with the album, because it's just kind of random to just listen to a little snippet. To summarize the album, I thought it was great. It had a lot of highlights, but there were definitely a couple of songs that really stood out to me as like, yes, those are played again, going on my playlist immediately. Angel Song, Free Fall, Blame It on the Drugs, and Existential Dread. Those were the top 4, in my opinion, on the album. And then I would add Give It Time, Stuck, and House on Sand as kind of like mid-tier in my ranking. They're like in the middle. And then If It Doesn't Hurt and Down the River just didn't really hit for me. I don't know why. Same with Run for Your Life. It just I wasn't feeling it. But I for sure really liked Angel Song, Free Fall, Existential Dread, and Blame It on the Drugs. And I actually cannot tell you which of those was my favorite because I thought they were all like really top tier awesome. I think each one, fits a different mood and a different time. So I think it would really depend on the day which of those is my favorite. But all in all, I think this was such a great album. I've seen them live once before, and I'd love to see them again playing some of these new tracks. They're so great live. And I would be really curious to see, I've talked about the little interludes, if they would like play those voiceover, if they played the album live, like would they play those and then segue into some of the songs live? I'd be really curious to see what they did with that, or if that was just specifically to complete the listening experience in a recorded way. All in all, I think CARNAL was a great album. All of their albums are great though, and I really liked those 4 songs in particular. Those were like the apex songs. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the flip side.